uh, none of these organizations, generically speaking, broadly speaking, there can be differences, in different mosques, in different organizations and in different cities, but I'm talking about generically. None of these organizations are very democratic. None of these organizations are open to a diversity of opinion. And if anyone who do not agree with the mosque authorities, then they would be unwelcome in those mosques. And so in that sense, most of these organizations, from my experience, are in so many different ways undemocratic and authoritarian. So it was a decision made and the effort launched by the various organizations, and I hope we can get into wider discussion on this matter so that people understand. They did not ask for a consensus among the Muslim community, and those Muslims who do not have a voice in the mosque or who do not have a membership in any of these organizations are in that sense disenfranchised, and their opinions have not been heard. Having said that, you can then conclude from my observation that this is another infringement of the rule of law, because the right process would have been, okay, take for instance the various mosques in the Peel region in Mississauga, because there's a very large community of Muslims from different parts of the Muslim world, the Middle East, Pakistan, India, etc., that they have made this approach to the city council, in this case, the city of Mississauga. The right thing would have been for the city of Mississauga then to ask for a hearing from the cross-section of the people in the city of Mississauga, including those Muslims who have reservation about going to engage in call to prayer publicly. It wasn't done. And so this is another evidence of the breakdown of the rule of law.
Thank you. Ram, do you have the next question?
Yes. The next caller is Fiona. She is unable to ask the question herself because she has some technology issues. But Professor Mansur, her question is, I'm just curious about your opinion and your stance. Does it not endanger your job as a professor of a major university? I'm not changing her question in any manner. Says, I'm just curious about your opinion and your stance. Does it not endanger your job in a major university?
The quick short answer is no, I'm not worried about this. I'm a Canadian and I'm fully protected by my charter rights. And if those rights by any sense get infringed upon because of my public position, not only on this matter, but on any matter, as a Canadian, to express my views, that is part of free speech, my freedom rights. If that causes an infringement upon my freedom, then I would take it up with the authorities. Because when we, for whatever reason, and fear, as the lady has just mentioned, is a very motivating factor to people, that as a result of fear, people, when they see a wrong being done, they still back away in trying to correct the situation and seek right. So that's when our society as a whole suffer. We each individual have a responsibility to stake our position in defending our charter rights. I hope I've answered your question.
Excellent. The next question is from Ken Marion. The question was asked, Ken isn't here and is not participating, but Joe Fernandez will ask the question on behalf of Ken Marion.
All right, thank you. The question is the call to prayer essential to be broadcast on loudspeakers as a religious necessity? Are we in any way being non-inclusive by objecting?
The quick short answer is no. The call to prayer is not a doctrinal issue, no more than, ringing of the bell by church or calling out for prayer by using a horn's ram, as is in the Jewish tradition, is a doctrinal issue. These are traditional matters. Call to prayer has been happening as long as I have been in Canada, and to the extent that I have attended and have been attending when I wanted to mosque, there is call to prayer within the mosque, and people then respond. Call to prayer is mean asking the people to come, join, and get ready to engage in prayers. But the demand that was made and the authorities that responded to the demand by making an amendment to the noise bylaw, I believe in most of the cities, that is making an exception in this case for call to prayer being made in the public, not within the mosque, but in the public, and broadcasted in the public, as it is done, for instance, in Karachi or in Cairo or in Istanbul, has not happened before in Canada or in any city. As far as I know, I would be corrected. I would stand to be corrected if it was pointed out to me, yes, that this has been happening. But as far as I know, it hasn't happened. And so this particular exercise that the mosque have engaged in by going public on a loudspeaker, as I understand, has no basis in Islam, has no basis in anything. So this is now an issue, as the questioner has raised it, leads to the following observation, that those people, those Muslims, those organizations who have engaged in making this effort to go to the city of Mississauga or the city of London or the city of whatever, and give them the permission to engage in this call for prayer in so many different ways, has weaponized their religion. That is, they're making it political. They have politicized their religion. There was no need for this call to prayer to be made in public, because the first act about any faith tradition, in my view, is respect not only for the people in that particular faith tradition, but more importantly, respect for the people who are not part of that faith tradition, so that those people who are not part of that faith tradition, in this case, the non-Muslim communities, their rights, their sentiments, their feelings should not in any way be injured because this particular group of people, in this case Muslim, want to exercise their religious tradition in a manner which has not happened before.